All right, I borrowed my buddy's Hobart 140 welder. Mine's only 100 amps. Seems to be going okay. I'm trying to figure I had some problems with the wire feed. I think the tip was a little small. I drilled it out to 40 thousandths. It's a 35 thousandths wire, but had a 30 thousandths tip in it. So I thought it was a little tight and it kept binding up. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly where we are. It's a little heavy, but it is burnt in though, that's for sure. So I think all in all this is going to work. Well, put it this way, we're going to make it work one way or another. Try to get this side done and then try to figure out all my settings and get everything perfect, so when I do weld the underside, that's the only side you'll see. You can't see this once it's on the car anyway, and plus being painted. So not that it's a big deal, it's all going to be burnt in anyway, so that's the important thing. But and this is just, it's not like I'm welding the frame to hold up to anything. This is added support, so anything I do is going to be better than what it was. So all right, let me get welding here. Does take some time, but we'll get it done, and we'll show you when we get one side finished. All right, so all the welding is done on the top side. Ran the grinder with a flapper disc over it real quick. Doesn't have to be pretty because it'll never be seen, and it wasn't pretty from the factory, but just like to run the grinder over. It's definitely not the prettiest, but they are burnt in good, which is good. They're not going anywhere. So once this rain stops, probably tomorrow, I'm going to bring it back out here and flip it over and weld the underside. So that's the plan. And then like I said, I'll run the grinder over a little bit all in the middle. I'll do the grinder and then a wire wheel, and then I have to wire wheel the rest of the frame off, get everything good. So we're probably gonna epoxy prime this since we came this far. So that's the plan. Put like 2 light coats of epoxy primer on, let it set up, and then top coat it with the satin black with some hardener actually. And that should hold up really well then. Like I said, I don't want to put it on thick though. That's, you know, I don't need to cover any of this up. You know, the old saying is caulk and paint make what it ain't, but this doesn't have to be perfect. So I mean, you can see the welds from the factory weren't the greatest, and they had a lot of splatter. I did have a lot of splatter out of the paint. It went very well, burnt in good, but was getting a lot of splatter. I don't know if that's just from impurities in the metal or what, but like I said, we're done with the top half. That took about, I don't know, three plus hours, I guess, for the top half, and we did the sides also. So we're about 5/8 of the way done, and like I said, we'll flip it over and weld the other side and grind that. On the bottom side, what I might do is I might grind it and then put a flat seam seal on it just to make it look good from underneath. Not that it has to look great. I'm not trying to totally smooth this frame out either. You know, I just want it to be a little nicer than it was from the factory. You know, get rid of some of the nasty factory welds and stuff and clean them up. So all right, so the frame has 2 coats of urethane paint on it. Looks pretty good. That's gonna be it. We still have to prep all this. All right, so this morning we are gonna try to attempt to change these bushings out. These ones over here have been changed. I was gonna hold off painting till I was gonna put the bushings afterwards, but you know, the more I thought about it, this stuff's just gonna rust because it's just bare metal and everything. So why not just paint the bushings? It's not a big deal. So what we're gonna do is take this upper control arm off, take this off, hopefully beat those bushings out, heat them, beat them, do something. Like I said, the ball joints have been replaced. Got to get those backing plates off, get them cleaned up, get all this brake stuff off because it's all older stuff. It's not, I don't know if it's, I have all new stuff anyway. So like I said, a lot of stuff on that other frame was good, but We just have to transfer everything over. Our steering stuff is all tight, so just gotta, like I said, shake stuff down, and we'll go from there. All right, let me get started. We'll get this loosened up, hopefully get it off, and we'll show you. All right, we got that off. Took about 10 minutes. Took the sway bar off, bushings, undid the lower ball joint. Ball joint is new, so we're gonna leave it, or it has been replaced. This lower one, I'm not sure about. The boot isn't in the greatest of shape, but we'll see what we can do with it. We're this far, so we might as well just probably go ahead and replace it. All right, so what we got to do is we got to get these bushings out, and you can see the bushings are kind of oblonged. So what we'll do is we'll try to get this out, and we'll clean up the back side of this and put a little bit of paint on it also while we have it apart. And yeah, so let's see if we can get those bushings out. All right, so we took this spindle off. We got to replace those upper bushings, but I noticed that the lower ball joint boot was really toast, so took spindle off. We beat that out. Just looking at these bushings, we're going to replace these too. So basically we're going to replace everything on the front end, which I kind of wasn't planning on doing, but I have some of the stuff. I got to get lower ball joints, and we'll get them on order, and we're going to steal some parts off of the other frame over there. And yeah, so like I said, we're getting into it even more, which is the proper way to do it. You know, you might as well, you come this far, you might as well get it all done and get it all out. So all right, well, just figured I'd let you know. Got to keep these shims halfway in order so we have a partial front end alignment, and we'll go from there. All right, this side's all apart. I didn't want to show you all the boring procedure of that, but I do want to show you this. As you can see, I got the old ball joint out. When this was all together, you couldn't see that those bushings were bad. Look at how destroyed they are. They are totally destroyed. I do have new bushings. I have new ball joints coming, and I have upper bushings coming also. So everything in the front end will be new, which is the proper way to do it, really. I was trying to save a little bit of time, a little bit of money. Like I said, that other frame, the stuff was okay. It wasn't totally worn out, but this one evidently was. So we will replace it all. That's all we can do. We're gonna make it right, and we come this far, so it'd be crazy not to. So we're gonna get the rest of this ripped down, get the rest of this off, and we'll go from there. All right, quick update on the suspension. We got everything out. I said it before, this is why you take everything apart. The stuff's 50 plus years old. Look at that side. Bushings look good, they're original as far as I can tell. And these bushings, totally gone. So that was the passenger side, that's the driver's side. Night and day difference. So like I said, we got all new bushings. We got new uppers coming. So we'll put everything in new and just be done with it. Gonna finish prepping this part of the frame, get it an epoxy primer, get the control arms cleaned up, and I'm not sure if I'm going to paint the bushings or not. The proper way is not to, because that's how it was from the factory. None of this was painted. It was just left all bare metal. But you know, if you leave it bare metal, it's going to rust, as you can see. So don't know, we're not doing a Barrett Jackson frame off here. We're doing an in garage, so we do it the way we want to do it and make it look good. That's the whole thing. The end product is going to look good. That's the bottom line. So all right, enough rambling. Let's do some bushing work. All right, so I just wanted to show everybody out there, shade tree mechanic land, people that work out of a little tiny garage and don't have all fancy tools. So the easiest way I've found, I've done this a couple of times before, to get these bushings out and ball joints, what I do is heat it. MAP gas is your friend, not propane. MAP gas, it's hotter. Heat all around where the ball joint goes, put it on like that, and then just beat it, and it'll pop right out within a couple of taps. And then for the bushings, like this one's a little bit beat up because the bushing was so worn, so I'll probably weld that in, probably weld the bushing in after it's pressed in. But what I'll do to get them out is, on Cutlass at 7172, they have an oval rear bushing on this, which is standard. 68 to 70 is round, I believe. So the easiest way to do it is heat the surrounding metal, you know, the part you're taking it out of, and then take a punch, just a chisel punch, and when it's in there, see, it goes in pretty easily now, just beat on it in the center, and it'll basically fold in on itself, and then you can just whack it a couple times and it'll pop right out. No press needed. And as for the round one, basically the same thing, heat it around there, and generally that'll pop right out because it is round. So just wanted to show everybody just a quick little tip on how to get some of this hard stuff out without having a press or anything. So we're gonna get these cleaned up, sand them down, epoxy coated. I think I am gonna put my bushings in first and then paint everything. I know that's not the 100% proper way, but that will preserve them a little bit longer. So we still got to work on getting the bushings out of these uppers, which be a little more of a challenge because they have the rod going through them. So all right, so we started cleaning some parts, the upper and lower control arms. We got them all wire brushed down, and all the edges are deburred because from the factory they're stamped, so they don't get ground at all. So all these edges are very sharp. So what we did was we ground them down and made them smooth, just rounded off the edges. So what we'll do is wash them off real good, put a coat of Ospo on them, and then prime them, paint them, epoxy prime. So just wanted to give you the update.